Hey guys, welcome to another session of Talkabouts with EMG. I'm Damien Navarro, one of the managing partners of EMG, and we have a recent addition to our team, Mr. Zach Murray, who's also joining me here for today. Say hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So we just recently attended in November the American Marketing Association Symposium for Higher Education, and we kind of wanted to do a little bit of a recap because there were some really interesting things that we were able to see at the conference that both myself and Zach were able to kind of walk through. So Zach, this was your first conference. How'd it go? What do you think?
It was a lot of fun, actually. Didn't have to go too far down in San Diego, so met a lot of people, a lot of different industries were covered, so it was definitely an awesome learning experience to be on.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting because there's a lot of different types of levels when you talk about the American Marketing Association. So you saw a lot of undergraduates, graduates, as well as just a host of different types of individuals, like from technology and marketing. I think it's the first time that I really started to see a good blend of different team members and different groups within education coming together to kind of solve some of the bigger issues. Did you get a chance to go to any sessions?
I did. I actually, in between, manning the booth and talking to a lot of people, I actually did get to go to a couple. One interesting was one of the keynote sessions where the president of Macalester College up in Minnesota actually gave the keynote session, and he gave an example of how he created a really low budget, really low production cost video of him going around campus, doing all the things you'd see around a normal college campus. He was the school mascot, he was cooking in the kitchen,
cool.
And he showed how in order to be engaged with social media and with your audience, you don't always have to be at the high-tech level, that as long as you have good strategy in place and you know your audience and you know how to reach your audience, there's easy ways of being creative and keeping costs down and stuff, which was really interesting because a lot of all the stuff you hear about these days are, what's the newest product out, what's the newest piece of technology. So it was really interesting to see how strategy can kind of always trumps just what the newest toy out there is.
I agree, and I got a chance to sit in the same keynote, and I think one of the other interesting things is how much he was talking about the importance of being able to experiment, and how there really wasn't any way that they knew that it was actually going to work, and how that was a huge sell across especially to the admissions team, about trying something different. And I don't know if any of you guys have also seen the Yale video. It's easy to find, but they kind of took it a bit different approach, and we're starting to see, I think, a lot of themes that are coming over from other traditional industries, especially in the entertainment realm, that we're starting to see education really buy into. And I think one of the common themes as it relates to that particular project is branded entertainment, that developing really kind of neat ways of getting your content out there by really standing apart from the competition and using localized technologies that are, like you said, really cost effective, that is really easy to disseminate that type of information or that type of creative out. So that was definitely cool. Did you get a chance to speak to some interesting clients? I mean, what are maybe some of the things that you see people asking for now?
So the range of topics that people were interested in was just that. It was really wide. Everybody was, touched on little things here and there, but the main theme that I saw was education is, like you said, still just now kind of coming around to the forefront of social media, of using, web technology for their online marketing. I think education has always been very traditional in their approaches, so a lot of people are just now kind of feeling it out. And so what I felt a lot of people were interested in was having a firm be there to kind of guide them along the way. Not necessarily, hey, we're ready to go, who do I hire for this, but hey, can you give us a little bit of help of exactly what we should be doing, when we should be doing it? And so that was definitely the biggest thing I noticed, was people were just there and were looking for someone to help them out, which was exciting for us, for all of us that were there, because we know here at EMG we've been developing and refining our consulting services really a lot over the past year. In fact, we just got done with a few projects in terms of that. You want to elaborate a little bit more on that? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, when it comes to choices, I think we're seeing a bell curve in technology. So I know a lot of the EMG clients, and even some of the recent inquiries that we're getting, is that we kind of have this benchmark of all the different technologies that are in place, but where do we go from here? And I think that's the bell curve, that everybody kind of is caught up to speed on, we need a web presence, it needs to be a marketing-centric web presence, we need a CRM that needs to be integrated into all of our activities. So I think that's where we're starting to see a lot of the consulting come from, is we've gotten to this far. We have all the kind of tools in place, but now what? And I think there's a lot of pressure, especially with some of the budget cuts last year, of how do you optimize the system. So I think that optimization is really the consulting practice's kind of central heartbeat. How do you take what we've done now and really start to analyze the data, both from a quantitative standpoint, but also a qualitative? What are we actually seeing on the ground happen? What types of students are we starting to see that we're attracting? And is that the type of group that we want to go after? So many times I think we're we're actually selling these smaller consulting packages where we just come in with the client and just kind of listen to what they say for about a day and just get a better understanding of where they might want to center their priorities. So I think that in education is something that we're going to continue to see a lot more of, is just these really small, simple engagements, because you can pretty much quickly identify whether or not it's something they can do on their own, whether or not they need a larger team, or whether it's just simply a resource perspective that they need to invest in.
Yeah. And that was definitely what we saw from their perspective, is like, you know, we're just now putting teams together. Where do we go from here? So that was really exciting, knowing that we have that capability to be able to go in and guide those, you know, guide those people towards, you know, getting whatever knowledge and insight they need to achieving their objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's pretty much it for us today. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about what some of the things and the trends that we're seeing with especially higher education and American Marketing Association is really trying to push and trump. So with that, we're signing off, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care.